Well, sup you chuckle fucks, it's your boy Dark Raikou here with What If Issei was saved by a god after being, rejected. Rejected, betrayed? I'll think of the title, but for right now, I just want to go into this What If, and yeah, I really haven't made a thumbnail, and it's because the whole day I went to go do stuff, but yeah. Other than that, let me begin into this What If, and let me shut the fuck up, but yeah. Also, I am going to do I am going to try to do What If Issei has Spiral Energy Part 10. Don't worry about that. I am not going to just leave it on Part 9 because Part 10 is something and then Part 11 will be something else, but that's the point. But we go into mostly Issei. Now, into a brownish hair boy who is right now kind of going towards to see his kind of president. Also slash his mostly master. Now this brownish hair boy is actually getting towards, he was already finishing with some contracts. Of course, where he finished 2 contracts at once. He got a ring and also like a necklace. And this is where, the necklace was weird. It was kind of like a cross. But of course he's going to take it. Well, it wasn't a cross entirely. It looked to be like an omega symbol and a cross together, which really didn't hurt him at all for some reason, but yeah. But this is where, mostly Issei was kind of like walking towards the, old school building. When he was getting to the old school building, this is where, he was actually going to kind of surprise his, mostly president. Of course, he did fight against Rise already, so yeah, that's the thing. And of course, he wanted to train, but thinks that maybe he won't have time because of school and other stuff. So of course, he went towards mostly the old school building. This is where, mostly Issei kind of gets to the old school building. And when he does get there, he kind of sees that, Rias is there. And of course, even the others. But this is where when Issei opens the door to kind of go in, Issei says, but I kind of finished 2 contracts at once. This is where Issei said with a very happy, cheerful tone. This is where, Rias kind of looks at him with a very kind of fake smile somewhat. And then she then says, okay, Issei, I want to talk to you with an important message. This is where Issei says, yes, but you are no longer welcome into the, Parage. Mostly into the club. You see here, after your little incident with Riser, thank you for mostly saving me from Riser's, grasp and other things. But, since you have, finally finished your use, you are no longer into this Parage. Or not Parage, mostly into this, mostly club. You're still going to be in the Parage because I still need your use of your Red Dragon powers. But you're really not needed in the Parage. So, of course, you're going to be kicked out. And if you showed up into the club without a given permission from me or someone else, I will tell Kiba to, remove you forcibly. Other than that, that is what I wanted to tell you today. This is where, Issei looks just horrified. Issei says, but, this is where he looks at everyone. He sees, Akono kind of having a fake false smile. Of course, where he sees Koneko with an emotionless look, but a relief look at the same time. He then also noticed Azia with a relief look, and then noticed Kiba. Kiba has a very pitiful look at Issei, and Issei just looks at all of them with mostly an emotionless look for a second. This is where Issei didn't show the ring or mostly the necklace. The necklace started kind of glowing with a blue symbol and yellow symbol, but it didn't actually show because Issei had it under his hand, mostly into his pocket coat. This is where, Issei said, I see. Then, Issei had something on his mind. This is where, Issei didn't question it and didn't ask it because, this question actually came from, the question was, so, the day I die against Rainer, was it just a part of your plan? Issei thought in his head. This is where, he then heard how his usefulness is kind of gone, since he already defeated Riser. This is where, Issei then thinks more, and this is where Issei's face is almost all motionless. Issei nodded and walked away. This is where, Reyes kind of thinks that was quite easy to kind of tell Issei to kind of leave. There wasn't no argument or any of that. This is where she grins and just says, okay, everyone. This is where Reyes decides to talk to everyone, but yeah. But we go into Issei getting towards mostly the park. This is where, well, Issei kind of like, instead of walking home, which he was going home, but this is where, well, his parents didn't really want him back. Well, we go into mostly a time skip of 2 days. Well, not 2 days. Mostly he does go to the park, and of course, where he noticed the park kind of showing, well, mostly the fountain, how he died, and other things, which really pissed him off and made him so angry that his eyes just changed for a second. One of them turns to the Omega symbol, and the other one turns into a cross symbol. Well, this is where, well, they disappear after a while. This is where, well, Issei then kind of goes off for the rest of the day, kind of not going to go bother the club or any of that. But this is where, when he goes home, his parents wanted to kick him out, which they did. And of course, when it comes towards the or, well, they didn't really kick him out. They kind of just like told Issei to ask him in what he's doing, but that's where Issei just ignores them entirely. Just completely just blocks their mind or way or ahead of them. He didn't care too much because they were just going to talk about mostly like Ozzy or something, so of course he doesn't care. That's why, well, because he saw Ozzy a relief look. Is it because he was too much of a pervert that she's so happy and relieved that he's being kicked out? Even though he helped her, mostly he saved her from mostly, what's it called, Rainer? And this is where he's so pissed, but yeah. This is where, well, he then kind of goes to the school the next day. Of course, he's getting chased down by almost anyone. No one really likes him at the school because they notice how he got kicked out. And all of them just had thoughts that he got kicked out because he was a pervert. Yes, he also does get kind of beat up by the kennel club, mostly females. Just one person doesn't actually hurt him too much in the club, but I will mention about her later. This is where, well, mostly Issei does get hurt all day and decides to kind of ditch school entirely. He decides to kind of go back to the park. Now, this is where Issei is so pissed and annoyed. The fact that his life has been ruined entirely. Well, mostly thanks to the devils and everything. No one really likes him. Of course no one did like him in the first place. He thought of making friends with the ORC, but now he thinks that all of them would just think that he's a pervert. This is where Issei still has the necklace in his like coat, which is kind of glowing brighter. And this is where, well, Issei's anger is just kind of erupting from his body. This is where it actually awakened the boosted gear. Mostly kind of awakened Drake because he can feel the rage and negative emotions from Issei and trying to calm him down, because Drake does actually tell Issei to calm down. But this is where when Drake tries to, well, mostly contact Issei by trying to kind of go out from the boosted gear, something stops him in an instant. And the Mega and the cross symbol stops him in an instant. This is where, well, mostly Drake is confused and says, "What is this? This power is similar of God. What is this?" Issei is kind of almost about to go into Juggernaut Drive because he is about to kind of say the enchant, because he felt so hurt from the person that he thought of mostly a little sister, from those that he believed they were friends, just being betrayed emotionally. So this is where, well, Issei is about to just say the Juggernaut Drive. We all even know what the Juggernaut Drive is because he never got told. This is where, well, I, who am about to awaken. This is where, well, Issei's power kind of increases a lot. Started going boost, boost. This is where, well, mostly Issei was getting so angry and more emotion started erupting from his body. Power also started erupting from his body. This is where, well, Issei is just so pissed. He was hurt this whole day. Everyone has just been pissing him off. This is where, well, Issei is about to kind of keep saying the chant name until mostly the necklace started kind of glowing brighter. But this is where he actually kind of, well, how should I say, mostly unlocked something from the necklace, or mostly caused someone. Mostly this necklace actually caused someone from a different pantheon. But this is where, well, Issei was about to continue kind of like talking until someone appeared behind him. Now I should mention one thing. This is the afternoon, it's kind of dark, but this is where, well, a greenish kind of glow appeared behind him. Issei turns around with a confused look, and because he was actually stopped saying the enchant name, because mostly for some reason his body and mind just got calmer for a second, until because of this pressure, mostly it was kind of a presence that actually gave him comfort, but at the same time it gave him fear. This is where when Issei turns around, he sees an old man that seems to be kind of going bald, but he still has long kind of grayish hair. Has a funny old man cheerful smile, and this is where, well, mostly just smirk. And this is where, well, Issei kind of sees that this person has kind of 3 eyes. He is confused, but he thinks that this person is not from the supernatural. He doesn't feel demonic or fallen or even a holy energy from this person. So he is thinking that this person is none of those. That's where, well, the older man looks at Issei. Issei, one of his eyes is right now having the omega symbol. A bluish, well, not bluish, a yellowish, well, it is kind of bluish mega symbol. But this is where, well, Issei says, who are you? This is where, well, the older man says, huh, it seems that you have lots of emotions going around you. You still have rage and everything. So tell me, what happened to you? This is where, well, Issei scoffs and says, what, why should I tell you anything? This is where, well, the older man says, well, yeah, you don't need to really tell me anything what happened to yourself. But I would like to know about your story. Issei scoffs and says, who cares about my story? No one cares. I know my parents probably would have kicked me out because, well, they never liked me. I can't even remember what happened to my childhood. But that's not the point here or there. What do you want? Who are you anyway? Well, child, the name is... well, I go by many names. The ruler of heaven. Mostly, yeah, the ruler of heaven. Yeah, kind of the ruler of kind of heaven dividing, whatever, not the point. Mostly he then says, I could be I could be the divine master of, well, heaven, well, mostly origins. I could be other things. But there's one name you can call me. I am the Jaden Emperor. This is where, well, mostly Issei widens his eyes and says, what? I heard of that god. He has heard of this god. He kind of read upon it. This is where, well, Issei says, what does the Jaden Emperor want from me? Oh, the relic necklace that you have. Huh? This is where Issei kind of pulls that out from his, like, coat and hand, because he still has a cross in having the omega symbol. And this is where, well, Issei says, are you talking about this? Oh, yes. It seems that the necklace is actually glowing upon you. But it's still having a little struggle, a battle between, well, two forces inside your body. How about this, kid? How about you come with me and become my bishop? I would actually like for you to become a bishop because it seems the power is actually trying to go into your body. I can actually allow the power to go fully into your body, and you can become the strongest bishop that I ever hold, or mostly has ever been with me. Besides, I have never actually expected the powers within that necklace to actually been taking a liking to you. So how about it? I remove those evil pieces those devil like to call. You will become a normal human, a human with God powers. And you will kind of live with me in my palace, protecting me and, of course, any need that you need to do. You will also become a lot stronger than anyone else. You'll be one of the most important figures and mostly, well, into the pantheon. So how about it? Issei kind of looks at mostly the Jade Emperor, and this is where, well, Issei says, my answer is, sure. This is where, well, Issei kind of grins, because this probably is a good chance to get him much more stronger. He wanted to become much stronger. He doesn't want anyone to hurt him ever again. Which, yeah, that's the case. He doesn't want to be ever hurt, rejected, or even being used. Of course, yes, he's kind of being used here, but at least he will get paid, he will be respected, and he will not be looked down upon because he's just a reincarnation devil, unlike the Devil Society, so yeah. So, of course, well, Issei nods and says, I would like that. The Jade Emperor smiles, and this is where, well, his eyes glow. Of course, 3 eyes kind of open, all 3 of them. And this is where, well, they all glowed in an instant. This is where a very bright green energy appears around Issei. But this is where, well, 8 evil pieces were, well, mostly thrown out of his body, destroyed in an instant, all kind of like cracked and rippled. But this is where, well, mostly those pieces were thrown into a different dimension by the Jade Emperor. This is where, well, he then looks at Issei, who unconscious. Yeah, he went unconscious. But this is where his hair became white in an instant. And of course, his skin has become a light tannish instead of a, yeah, dark tannish. Well, mostly not dark tannish, just tannish. Just became a light tannish color. Of course, this is where, well, he then kind of just passed out, but yeah. But of course, he can feel the power that Issei now has. He puts the necklace over Issei's neck, and of course, this is where, well, the necklace is actually seeping in power. Issei is no longer a double hybrid. He's, well, not double hybrid human. He's mostly just a human with the powers of God. But of course, mostly the powers that he has is called, well, mostly the powers is called Chariarch. This is where the Jade Emperor kind of grins and decides to kind of take Issei towards back to the palace. Back to, well, the pantheon of the Chinese gods, but not the point. This is where, well, we go into mostly a time skip of Rias realizing that she hasn't seen, or not seen, mostly she hasn't, like, sensed Issei in a while. Not in the school. Of course, where, well, Issei's parents are kind of worried, but of course, seeing that Asia's fine, so of course they just believe that Issei is fine also. Maybe he's doing something. But yeah, maybe pervert or something. But Issei, well, we go into mostly a month. A month time skip. Mostly Rias thought that he was fine for another couple of days of not seeing him until a month passes by. She then gets worried thinking that Issei has become a stray. Probably. She never expected Issei to become a stray. But then again, and she has heard of mostly, usually masters kind of neglecting some of their kind of like barrage piece members. So it could have happened towards Issei where he actually just become a stray. Which realized that, well, she just realized that that was a terrible idea to actually let him out of his sight. Or out of her sight. This is where, well, she just worries now because, well, now that Issei is gone, she does not have someone powerful if another marriage goes in upon her. But yeah. But of course, this is where, well, she couldn't really be bothered to actually question where Issei was entirely at. And if he's a stray, then it'd be terrible. But this is where, well, she had to meet up with two church members. Well, yeah, two church members. One who had an orange hair kind of tint, like orange kind of brownish hair, had purplish eyes, and of course the other one had blue hair, blue shorter hair than the other one, but of course with a green streak and yellow eyes. And then two others that were actually a part of the church, but a part of a different branch. But yeah, this is where, well, one had kind of like lightish, kind of like rose blondish hair. The other one kind of, and she had orange eyes and kind of like palish skin, but not the point. The other one kind of had shorter hair than the other one, but of course it was like a goldenish blondish, and of course she had kind of like these goldenish eyes. Now, of course, this is where, well, they were all very beautiful, but this is where, well, mostly Rias is signed because she found out that mostly Kokobel stole the mostly Excaliburs, and there might be a war in Kuo, and this is where, well, she's signed. She doesn't have Issei for backup, so of course she might have to call her brother. But this is where, well, she's too prideful to call her brother, so that's the case. This is where, well, we go into a time skip, but mostly Kiba kind of getting hurt more often, and of course he's enraged, wanting to be a revenger to destroy the Excaliburs. So of course he was much more hurt, and of course Asia was also kind of like about to get killed by mostly Irina, and even what's it called, Zenovia. But of course mostly Rias managed to stop it, but yeah. Now, of course, with that happening, basically it was a one-sided match with mostly Kiba, and Kiba mostly anger and rage wasn't actually calmed down by Issei, so of course mostly he was actually became another stray. Another stray appears in what's called Rias Parage. She couldn't calm down what's called mostly Kiba's rage to becoming a mostly revenger. Of course, this is where, well, we'll see Rias as a sign because she does not want what's it called another stray. She already had Issei who became a stray, and then what's it called now Kiba. She is horrified to believe that two of her members just became strays. Either one out of neglection and of course probably abuse of the school, and the other one out of revenge and hatred from his past life. That's where, well, we go into mostly another time skip. Yeah, you know what? Not a time skip, but yeah, a time skip of mostly, well, the battle between Rias Parage, which it has a stray Kiba there, of course the Exorcist, and some fallen angels that also appear to try to stop Kokobel. Now Kokobel was laughing and saying, "You people would never be able to stop me. I will start this war. I will be the one who will start this war, and I will not lose." I'll kill the two Arists to making Sona, well, mostly not Sona, mostly Seraphol and Sursec so angry. Then I'll be able to manipulate him. And that's where, well, he's just laughing and chuckling, yeah. Now, there's someone else watching on top of a building. She's right now signed because she hasn't actually seen her kind of, well, a friend of hers that actually joined the Grimoire Parage, but he hasn't actually been seen. And it's none other than Issei, well, mostly, yeah. But of course, she's actually wondering where the brownish hair boy Issei is at. Now, this is where, well, she's kind of worried about him, but yeah, I'll mention who exactly this person is. But we go into mostly a brownish cloaked figure kind of appearing in Kuo once again. He is actually told to actually eliminate Kokobel because, well, Kokobel decides to piss off the pantheon of the Chinese kind of pantheon. But yeah, mostly he attacked one of the gods mostly out of anger and mostly frustration, and the gods were pissed at him, very pissed. Literally, the gods can't go to Japan because they're not mostly having great terms with the what they call pantheon over there. I forgot what they're called, the Shinto faction. Of course, they've been having any great relationship with the devils at all, or angels, whatever, bullcrap. But this is where, well, the Chinese gods decide to ask one of the strongest bishops under the Jading Emperor to kind of go over there because he was actually someone who actually originated from Japan. This is none other than a kind of, well, none other than someone who's the strongest and considered to be the strongest. Now, of course, he actually did bring some members along, and of course, the organization that's actually under the Jaded Emperor is called Nux. But yeah, so this is where, well, we'll see. The person is kind of walking towards the location of Kokobel and his kind of fallen, well, mostly fallen angel army, probably also some rogue exorcists, and then some whatever those three-headed dogs from the underworld of Hades, the Hades pets. This is where, well, we'll see the person is walking towards it very calm. He doesn't care. He doesn't really care if Rias dies or not. He really wouldn't care. But this is where, well, he's getting towards the location. He sees what's it called, Sona's Barrage right now dealing with what's it called, well, the barrier. Of course, there's two other members that he actually hasn't expected to see in Sona's Barrage, and that is the two Kendo leaders, mostly the two Kendo girl leaders. Of course, there's someone else, and that was the swimming club leader. But this is where, well, the person just didn't care. He just strolled by them. This is where, well, mostly Sona notices, and Sona says, "What? Who exactly that is?" This is where well, yes, it's none other than Issei, but this is where, well, they don't know this. This is where, well, the person literally kicks the barrier, making a hole. A huge hole, but this is where, well, he then walks through it without a care in the world. Sona widen her eyes, and every Barrage member widen eyes. This is where Sanji is struggling because he was literally right next to the person. The person started strolling by and just walking towards mostly inside the barrier. Now, he would have asked for his members to come along, but he has a way to kind of bring them inside without them being noticed that he actually has an army with him. This is where, well, the person is walking inside. Now, he does have his necklace, but under the brownish coat. This is where, well, he is walking by. Yep, you get the point. This is where, well, mostly, well, Kokobel is laughing, of course. This is where he's just kind of playing with the kind of members of Ria's Barrage and other, like, exorcists and other things. Now, of course, he did tell Free to fight against these members. Now, of course, having the Excalibur fragment that actually does have 5 fragments into it. That being, what's it called, all 4 Excalibur fragments that he had in original, and even what's it called, the Destroyer one, because yeah, he managed to take it away from Zenobia. But this is where, well, Zenobia has Dorano, yeah, right now out. Even Irina's there, so yeah. This is where, well, Irina is kind of getting tired because she doesn't have a weapon no more. She's just having to use what's it called, kind of prayers and other stuff. This is where, well, the other 2 exorcists does have weapons, but they're kind of guns. This is where, well, mostly when Freed is about to rush at all of them to try to kill them, this is where, well, Freed says, "Well, it's time to kill you, you filthy devils. I might have to use some of you, you beautiful girls." This is where, well, he is just laughing like a maniac. And before he can even swing the sword down, mostly not an ice pillar, mostly, yeah, an ice pillar managed to block the sword, but of course the sword managed to slash through it. But of course the devil was actually saved. It was none other than Rias who got saved by someone who is actually not an exorcist, but someone who is from a different kind of organization. Mostly this bluish kind of like lightish blue hair girl. We kind of like, it's kind of icy blue kind of color, and even her eyes. But this is where impelish kind of snow white skin. But this is where, well, she was actually a new transfer student to Kowo, and she was supposedly a traitor, but not the point. Right now they're dealing with Kokobel. This is where, and even Freed. Freed is rushing at, well, mostly the bluish hair girl and saying, well, not the bluish hair girl, mostly rushing straight towards someone who's really unarmed. It's none other than Irina. And this is where, well, Freed says, well, a beautiful girl will have to be cut down, but then I'll use your body when you're dead. He's laughing like a maniac. And this is where, well, he was about to swing the sword down to actually cut what's it called, Irina, until a spear smashes into him. He coughs up blood. This is where, well, Irina winds her eyes because the spear actually appeared next to her. She's confused until mostly the spear disappears after a while. This is where Kokubio looks interested and even what's it called, vampire, but Free is right now annoyed. He said, what was that? He looks all around and trying to sense the energy, the magic. This is where none of them actually could sense the magic because it wasn't made out of magic. This is where, well, all of them hears from the forest, mostly from the forest comes a noise. A slow clap started appearing walking through the forest. A person with a brownish cloak actually appeared. This is where Free says, who the hell are you? This is where, well, mostly the person right now grins. And of course, you can only see the smirking grin from the kind of like moonlight. But this is where, well, Kokubio is kind of interested in the person now. Vampire is kind of confused in who exactly this person is. This is where the person says, me? Well, you can say I'm a bishop. I am a bishop for my god. I am someone who's considered to be stronger, the strongest member of, well, the organization that I come from. And for your, if you're wondering why I'm here for Kokubio's head. Kokubio looks amused in this person, seeing that this person seems to also be a bishop, but for a god. This is where, well, he would love to mention that his god is dead, but Issei wouldn't give a damn because it's not his god. He doesn't believe in the Bible god. He believes in only one god, and that being the Jade Emperor. But this is where, well, we'll see. Freeze say, huh? I see. So you're another bishop. I didn't know the church would actually bring a bishop, a father, towards the battlefield. But interesting. I guess you'll be my first target then against this sword. This is where, well, or mostly my first victim. This is where, well, mostly the person grins and says, first victim. I'm sorry, but I am not really your first victim. You're my first prey that I will kill. Because you're in the way of me killing Kokubio. As a mission I was given. This is where, well, mostly Freed rushes at what's it called, none other than this person, and tries to attack him. But the person literally teleported away from, well, Freed. Freed was confused until he literally got kicked to the side, well, not the side, mostly kicked into the throat. This is where he coughed up the blood, and this is where he was launched out of the way. This is where, well, the person says, oops, did I do something so badly? This is where Free coughs up some blood, but this is where he tries to breathe into his, like, mostly mouth because he was literally, did just get kicked in the fucking throat. This is where a vampire is kind of looking at this person with a confused look. He never seen a bishop literally use his hands. And actually, he has never seen this bishop. He can barely even sense any magic from this person. But this is where, well, mostly, what's it called, Freed glares at the person and says, I must show you what this Excalibur fragment can do now. Now die! This is where, well, the person says, interesting. So that's the Excalibur. I guess it has all 5 fragments, but yet it's so pathetic in my eyes. This is where, well, mostly, what's it called, mostly, Freed is rushing straight towards this person. But this is where the person grins and says, well, it's time for me to show you that that weapon is nothing but a pathetic image against my god's weapon. This is where, well, Issei, this is none other than Issei, but yeah. Well, none other than Issei kind of just looks at Free rushing at him, and this is where, well, Issei says, God's mace. This is where a giant sword appears right next to him, and this is where Free winds his eyes. This is where even Vampire, even, what's it called, Kokubio. This is where, well, Issei says, well, good luck in dodging this. He throws it straight, well, it's going straight towards what's called Free, usually like tosses it, and this is where Free winds his eyes. He uses what's called Excalibur Destruction, since it has all of different powers. He tries to destroy the giant sword before it clashes into him, to try to like block or clash into it. But this is where, well, the Excalibur literally shattered in an instant. This is where, well, Kokubio, Vampire, and even Free wind their eyes. Free gets stabbed into it. This is where, well, he loses his arm, but yeah, well, no. He doesn't get his sword shattered just yet. No, it wasn't God's mace, no. This is where, well, mostly Issei summons out a sword, and this is where, well, he says, Number 1, God's weapon. This is where, well, he pulls out a weapon, a sword that seems to have a white blade with a golden handle, and of course, mostly, yeah, golden handle, and of course the guard kind of being a golden kind of light color, but yeah. This is where, well, mostly he looks at, well, Freed rushing at him with blinding speed, but this is where, well, he swings the sword once right in front of him, and this is where Freed swings the sword trying to cut at what they call Issei, but this is where Issei blocks what's it called Freed's sword, but shatters Freed's sword in an instant. This is where Issei looks not really amused at this person. This is where, well, the person being Freed winds his eyes. Now Issei's cloak does actually falls off of him, showing a white-haired man. This is where, well, a kind of, yeah, whitish-haired man. Well, it wasn't actually a whitish-haired person, but actually a brownish-haired boy. This is where, well, he has brownish hair that's kind of all messy, kind of. It's not really that messy, but this is where, well, he does take off his cloak, the brownish cloak, entirely off. And this is where, well, he is kind of just like, just standing there, chilling, looking at what's it called, a very shock, what's it called, Freed, because Excalibur was shattered in front of him, thanks to the fact that this person just had a blank looking sword. But this is where it's none other than it's the sword that he has. Issei is none other than a god weapon, god sword. But this is where, well, Issei is just there looking amused at what's it called, Freed winding his eyes. But this is where before Freed can even react to try to attack Issei by using his gun, multiple swords stab into him. This is where, well, he winds his eyes. He never even like noticed this. This is where, well, Issei then shoots a spear behind him, literally a spear behind Freed appears. This is where it literally just hit him right in the top of the head. Right now killing him, just stabbing him through the neck. Right now just decapitating him. Issei just looks amused at Freed. Freed is already dead. This is where a vampire winds his eyes. He never expected Excalibur to just be destroyed again. This time into millions of fragments. This is where, well, Issei says quite pathetic. Indeed. I never thought that would be so easily to be able to kill someone like you. Then again, I am considered to be the strongest bishop in where I actually come from. But that is not the point here or there. Then again, a fool like you there fighting me? Wow, pathetic. This is where a vampire was saying, what is this guy? He summons swords out of nowhere. He even uses a spear. That sword right next to him is kind of holy, but yet it feels different. This is where, well, mostly Kokubel is the one kind of looking at mostly Issei with narrow eyes. The sword that Issei has is a god weapon. It literally has god energy inside it coursing through. Even the spear, he did not notice it, but it had also god energy. The sword that stabbed into Freed and is now dissipating is literally also made out of god energy. He's looking at mostly Issei with narrow eyes. He never expected Issei to be quite dangerous, or whoever this person is. He just heard he's a bishop from probably the church, but he has never heard this person from the church. Either the church has kept them secret, or this person is not even a part of the church. This is where, well, mostly Issei looks at mostly Kokubel with a very amused look until mostly someone screams out Issei's name. Issei is none other than Rias. Rias kind of tries to rush up to Issei, but this is where, well, before Rias can even get close to Issei, a literally barrier blocks Rias in an instant. She just smashed into it. Issei looks at her with a very cold glare at her. Now, of course, where, well, Issei said, "You think I'm Issei? Wasn't he the old Red Dragon Emperor? Sorry, but I am not Issei." Issei right now snapped his fingers, and his hair literally turned white. Well, Eri turned white during the whole battle between Freed after killing him. His hair literally turned white in an instant. This is where, well, Issei mentioned in what his actual name is. And this is where, well, Issei did not say his name is Issei Hiro. No, his name was well, let me start that again. Saint Maniok. This is where, well, mostly Kokubel never has eyes. He never heard of this person. This is where, well, mostly he says, that is my name. Now, who exactly are you, red hair? This is where, well, Issei never his eyes at Rias. This is where, well, mostly Rias is confused. This is where, well, Issei's hair turned white in an instant instead of having a brownish color. His eyes have the Omega symbol in them. Well, one of them does, and the other one has the cross symbol. Like a kind of cross. It kind of looks like it. This is where, well, he has a necklace right now kind of glowing a bluish color and a goldenish color at the same time. This is where, well, Issei just looks at her with a very annoyed expression. This is where, well, mostly Rias said, it's me, Rias, your master. This is where, well, Issei said, my master. If you're talking about my lord, my god, the person I believe is my god, You are not my God. He does not have red hair. Well, he did in his very young youth, but not the point. You are not my God. So either you leave me alone, you filthy devil, or I'll cut you down in an instant, and how filthy you are. This is where Reese kind of looks shocked and kind of scared of Issei's kind of angry look. This is where, well, we'll see. Well, Rhea kind of says, but Issei, this is where, well, a sword literally stabbed into her leg, and this is where just shutting her up in an instant because she's actually screaming. Holy energy was onto that sword because literally Issei grabbed one of the fragments of the Excalibur and just shoved it into her freaking leg to shut her up in an instant. This is where, well, she's crying and screaming. She never felt this imaginable, like, so much pain because the Excalibur does fucking hurt anyone. This is where, well, and especially stabbing into someone, this is where, especially the Dark Devil. Issei said, again, devil, if you do not want to die, I suggest you either leave me the fuck alone, because I have no clue in who this Issei is. Now, if you do not mind me, I have a mission to destroy, well, Kokobel. As my God has intended, I shall destroy you at once. This is where he looks at Vampire, and Vampire is about to escape until Issei right now summons swords all around him, stabbing him in an instant. Right now making him fall down. Well, mostly swords stab into his, like, legs in an instant. Vampire says, ugh! No! How is this possible? Of course, Kiba did manage to summon out the sword betrayers, like, still, but he realized that Excalibur is destroyed, and looks at Issei to be the prime subject. But this is where, well, he's confused if this is really Issei or not. Because Issei's eyes are quite different. He has a different standard. He's more like muscular lean. Of course, even though he's wearing this like whole priestess outfit, one side has an omega symbol, the other side has a X kind of, not X, it looks like a cross symbol. And this is where, well, Issei is literally walking straight to Kokobel. Kokobel seems with a very amused look, saying, so, Bishop, tell me, do you still believe in your God, even if he's dead? Because you see here, the God of the Bible is dead. He died during the battle between the four Satans. This is where, well, everyone wind their eyes, and this is where Issei just has a very not really caring look. Issei says, what the fuck are you talking about? Do you think... Oh, are you mistaking me to be a part of the church? I am not a part of the church. You mistake me. I do not believe in that God. He is nothing but a pathetic weakling if he literally died to his own creation. This is where, well, mostly Kokobel wind his eyes and realize this person isn't even a part of the God that he believes in. This is where Issei says, no, my God is none other than the Jaden Emperor, the Chinese God. He is, well, the kind of divine ruler of heaven, the original, the mostly origins. This is where, well, mostly Kokobel wind his eyes and realize, oh shit, he's not fighting against a bishop from mostly the Bible gods, mostly the angels. He's fighting against a bishop from mostly, well, the Jaden Emperor. And he's actually expecting this person to be extremely strong because he didn't actually try to piss off the Chinese gods too much, but he still managed to. But luckily he managed to not die against the Jade Emperor. Even though the Jade Emperor is old as fuck, he knows that that man can kick his ass in like 4 different ways, or even 4 million billion ways to just murder him. So of course luckily he didn't piss him off, but realize he did piss him off because he sent his own bishop straight here, and his bishop is quite powerful if he can literally make god weapons. This is what, well, mostly Issei said, other than that, I do not believe in the Bible God. If the Bible God is literally dead, well, good for him. He's nothing but a pathetic joke to me. If he couldn't even defeat his own creations, 4 creations who betrayed the angels, wow, my God, so pathetic. Exactly, they should have just been executed instantly before even being led into, well, if the Bible God was so strong, the Bible God should have just killed them all in an instant before letting them even betray him in an instant. Just kill them all instantly before letting these devils, filthy devils, be born. All 72 pillars, in my opinion, should be eradicated at once. No devil should be existence in this world. All of them shall be executed. Even those who are incarnation. I know some of those incarnations were not trying to become a devil, but devils themselves are quite evil. And, well, they could have lost their humanity entirely. So, I believe that all 72 pillars, devil incarnations, devil council, 4 new satans, For all Satans, I do not give a damn in any of them, because all of them should be eradicated once in my life. I will be the one who eradicates them all, if my Lord so pleases to. But I cannot do it without his permission. If I could, I would eradicate this red-haired bitch in an instant. Issei grabs her head in an instant, mostly her hair in an instant, without a care in the world. And this is where Issei just pushed her down in an instant without a care in the world. And yes, I would literally kill her in an instant, but my Lord hasn't approved of that. He only approved for me to kill a filthy scoundrel like you. So of course, I will be doing that. I shall slaughter you and bring your head to my Lord as a gift. Well, mostly not a gift. Or bring your head towards the Jaden Emperor so he can give it towards the god you actually insulted and attacked in the Chinese kind of faction. The China faction. Or mostly China kind of continent or whatever. Mostly the country. Not continent. What the fuck am I saying continent? Mostly country. This is where Kokubo narrowed his eyes, thinking that this kid is overconfident, but still, he's going to be worried about Issei. Issei is quite dangerous. His aura is very dangerous. This is where, Rias has never expected Issei. Or could it be her Issei, but she can't tell, because he's not a devil no more. He's literally a human, but a human with divine energy inside him. But this is where, Issei said, other than that, I should be eradicating you at once. So, I should be using the power of a sacred gear that was bestowed upon me. Mostly thanks to the Bible God. Even though his idiotic self decides to boast on, give me a sacred gear. How foolish of his. How very foolish. I really was not expecting I got a sacred gear. But then again, things can change. Who really cares? Whatever. Come out, Red Dragon Sacred Gear. This is where, he pulls out the Red Dragon Sacred Gear. It's a gauntlet, but then it becomes a sword. Well, mostly, sword and anything. He says, other than that, I should be eradicating you at once. This is where, he looks at Kokubo in her eyes. Kokubo widened his eyes. He never expected the Red Dragon, the current Red Dragon here, to be fighting him. This is where, Kokubo narrowed his eyes, but then grins. He never expected this. This is where, mostly everyone sees the Red Dragon. This is where everyone widened their eyes. Mostly Rei is now winding her eyes. This is a confirmed suspicion that mostly Issei is exactly who he says to be. He's this person, but he's different entirely. Issei said, other than that, balance breaker. He then kind of puts the sword next to him, and this is where, balance breaker and armor appears around him. But this armor is quite different. It's not the normal balance breaker, but instead this balance breaker looks like kind of a somewhat samurai kind of outfit style. Somewhat like that. But not really. It has wings still. It does have the dragon kind of like helmet. Still some of the same. Kinda. But it looks to be somewhat like a priestess outfit, but not much. This is where, he has wings behind him. He has 4 wings instead of having 2. But this is where, he says, other than that, I should now be destroying you at once. He still has a, instead of having, the mostly gauntlets, 2 gauntlets, he still has it, but this is where he has a red sword. And yes, it's none other than, it's called the Red Western Dragon Sword, which Issei created after kind of training with Drake for a while. And that's where, mostly Issei says, let's do this, Drake. We should now be able to eliminate this person at once. With my powers of Charikai, and also the power of the Drake, I should be eliminating you at once. For my God himself. Now, be gone from my sight. This is where, mostly Issei uses the Omega symbol to block a spear that was literally smashing into him, and didn't do anything to his, barrier. It was none other than the Omega symbol that he uses from mostly his left hand. This is where, Issei says, you are quite pathetic. I should show you the true power of God. This is where, mostly, Issei summons multiple swords all around, mostly, Kokubo. Kokubo managed to dodge in an instant, but this is where, Issei then appears behind him in an instant, just teleporting behind him, using the Red Dragon sword to cut Kokubo from the back. Kokubo screams in an instant in pain, because literally 5 wings were taken off of his back in an instant. Kokubo cannot fly, so he falls down to the ground, but he's still launching spears after spears at Issei. Issei right now destroys him on an instant because he makes his own spears. He says 180. Well, not 180. Mostly he says Spears, this is where he says spears, holy spears of longitis. Mostly 1,008 holy spears appear around him. This is where, well, they all have the same, similar energy to that of the longitis, the true longitis that, not Kokobel. Kokobel has felt against the hero faction, which everyone felt this, and this is where Issei says, "Be gone from my sight." This is where the spears launches straight into Kokobel. Kokobel tries to make a huge light kind of barrier to try to block him, but this is where all the spears rip through it, and right now cuts into mostly stabs and also cuts into Kokobel. He's right now looking like a goddamn pincushion. He just says, "You are so pathetic to believe that you'll be stronger than me. Show me. Can you block this?" Issei right now puts his hand up in the air, and this is where the mega symbol appears above Kokobel, and a huge ass sword appears. This is where Kokobel cannot block it, even though he had a bit of energy and he still was having conscience. He wanted his sword. No, this person is stronger than ever. This person can rival him in an instant. Even without the balance breaker, he didn't even use a single boost. He just uses his balance breaker because it was allowing him to fly. He could teleport, but he didn't want to fall down after But this is where, well, he then swings his sword down, saying, "You shall be executed for your crime at once." This is where, well, the sword going down slowly, but this is where, well, he says, "But it's too slow for your execution. You should not live any, mostly longer." So for that, he snaps his fingers, and the sword just disappears, and Issei appears right in front of him. "You shall be executed at once!" Cuts Kokobel's head off in an instant. Well, out of care in the world. This is where I should mention the sword is not like a great sword, it's actually a katana, but yeah. He cuts Kokobel's head off in an instant. This is where, well, he kind of lands down on the ground, grabbing Kokobel's head because it falls down upon his hand. And this is where, well, he's out of the balance breaker. Issei kind of just looks at mostly Kokobel's head in a very unamused look, because Kokobel was so pathetic in an instant that he was expecting a greater fight, a better fight, someone's strategy, someone would be able to mostly kind of rival his strategy mind, because Issei has trained in strategy and other things, and Issei can actually make 20 plans in an instant, but these 20 plans weren't used against Kokobel because they were defeated in an instant. Kokobel is right now just deader than a dead motherfucker, but yeah. But this is where, well, Issei kind of lands down on the ground, and this is where, well, Issei says, "Pathetic." But this is where, well, everyone who was watching this wind their eyes. Now, of course, someone with white hair and on top of a building wind their eyes because they needed to actually get there. But they were just shocked, dumbfounded to actually see Issei. But Issei has his hair white and his, mostly name changed entirely, having to show the omega and the cross symbol. This is where, well, Issei also talked about his god, being the Jaden Emperor, was actually the most shocking information entirely. He serves the Jaden Emperor instead of, well, Rias Gremory, making him, well, quite underprotected. He's, well, not quite underprotected. If any other faction wants to mess with the Jaden Emperor, they will be screwed in an instant, because even the the strongest god being Zeus, or even Odin, does not want to mess with the old figure, the Jaden Emperor, because the Jaden Emperor is quite powerful. He can easily just cut them down in an instant. His power just rivals that of almost a supreme god, but not just that. It's not there just yet, but yeah. So of course, Issei is quite underprotected in any laws. Any laws he might break, he doesn't care. But of course, well, even if this person managed to get, well, will probably be able to get Kokobel out of there, they think that they couldn't, because even with her own balance breaker, her own kind of white dragon balance breaker, she thought that she would be able to defeat, what's it called, the red dragon. No, the red dragon has just become 10, no, millions of times stronger. He didn't even use a single boost. He just uses the balance breaker for its wings, and that's all. He can also just teleport, making him more dangerous than ever. This is where, well, he can also create swords and even spears, because he literally said longitis. He mostly says true holy spears longitis, and created over 1,008. Literally making him more dangerous than anything in this entire kind of battle. And so even fighting against this person would literally make her lose instantly. Even though she's considered to be the strongest white dragon empress, she would still lose. Albion even had to tell her, even her instincts told her not to mess with him. He is more dangerous than ever. she was saddened a little bit that Issei seemed to be quite different. He's more stoic, careless, and really, not really careless, but really careless against other people's feelings. He really hurt the grandmother who had a care in the world. Grabbed her from the head and told her that he will literally destroy any filthy devil, half-breed or not. He really does not like devils at all. Which she can't really blame him because he was a devil before, but he's no longer a devil but a human. And if the Jade Emperor had something to do with it, even if Sir Zex wanted to throw hands with the Jade Emperor would literally kill him in an instant. Literally would not even blink or care if the fucking, like, Lucifer, well, the current Lucifer of the underworld, decides to throw hands with him. Because, well, he doesn't care. He will literally even be able to just dispel the power of destruction. That's how powerful he is. Even at his old age, he is quite powerful and quite dangerous. What does it work? Well, Issei kind of just looks at Kokube's head and just says, so, now that you're dead, you see literally just kind of using Kokube's head as like a fucking puppet. Now that you're dead, do you want to go see the Jade Emperor? This is where Issei has a very amused look on his face. This is where, well, Kokube says, yes, I must forgive my pants strength. Or mostly my sins. This is where Issei says, good to know. This is where, well, Issei decides to just chuckle. This is where, well, Issei kind of puts it into a portal. And this is where, well, Issei turns around at everyone. Issei kind of looks at mostly an orange-haired girl who has purplish eyes. And when they both lock their eyes at each other, Issei does not have the Omega or even cross symbol in his eyes. Because, well, it just went back to a goldenish brown. Issei said, huh. You look familiar, but I should probably not care too much. You see here, mostly the barrier was also let down because the sword, mostly that giant sword was about to destroy the barrier anyway. Mostly almost all the devils who was in Sona's barrage literally gave up. But notice the sword disappeared and Kokube was actually destroyed. But yeah, because they felt Kokube's like energy drop down to the like max point of being dead. But yeah, when Sona and her barrage kind of get to the site, they see Issei literally playing with Kokube's head without a care in the world. Now Issei's hair is still white, which made kind of Sona confused. But she noticed the brown cloak that was on the ground turning into literally dust in an instant, because that brown cloak was just, yeah, not the point. It was something that Issei was given, and he can easily toss it away, which anytime he doesn't want to wear it, but yeah. That's the way, well, Issei said, well, I should not really care about any of you. You are all part of the church, the fallen angels, the devils. Some of you are also part of that terrorist group called, what was that called? Hero Faction. No, Chaos Brigade. I think that's what it's called. And not gonna lie, I do not care about any of you. Truly, I only came here to kill Kokubel. That is all I came here to do. Other than that, I really do not care about you three factions and your problems. I do not even care about the Chaos Brigade and their problems either. They did try to ask me one time to join them, and I think I sent one of them back towards, well, their mostly leaders on a fucking gravestone yard because I didn't give a damn. I literally put them 6 feet under and then brought them there without a care in the world and told them to fuck off. But other than that, I should be leaving then. My mission is done here. Also, this is where Issei turns around to see Sona, and this is where Issei says, Sona Sifri, you are still a part of the mostly school called Cool Academy. Sona right now freezes up and says, yes, what do you want? Who are you anyway? My name? Oh, well, my old name used to be Issei Haidu, and I just want you to remove any of my recollections or any records I had in that school. I want you to just delete them all. Because, you see here, I am not going back to the school. I am already going to a school in China and of course learning about all the material and mostly stuff that I needed to do. Other than that, I want you to delete it all. Because, well, I already had to change my appearance / name and other things. So, I'll just tell you this once. If it's not deleted by the end of this week, or mostly the end of the day, I should say, because if that's not deleted, well, I'll just ask someone else to delete it. A hacker, probably. Oh, maybe he's already done it. Who really cares? That's what mostly Issei said. Sona winds her eyes and sees that this is none other than Issei, confirming that really Issei is much more powerful and quite good looking. His hair makes him also quite good looking, but yeah. mostly somewhat three kind of club members presidents kind of just blush because when they see Issei, that this is Issei but different appearance. This is where, well, he just says, other than that, I should be going then. This is where Issei was about to start walking, but this is where, well, mostly Koneko appears right in front of him and says, I will not let you go, but you need to talk to you. This is where Akono says, she would need to talk to you, sorry. This is where lightning crackles in her hand, while Koneko gets ready to fight Issei. This is where mostly Ozzy appears behind him and says, Issei-kun, you cannot go, because mostly, this is where, well, Issei sighs and says, die then. This is where, well, swords stab all upon them. Right now in an end scene, right now stabbing upon Ozzy, who had care in the world, and even stabbing upon, well, Koneko and even Akono, right now making them fall down to the ground. This is where Issei says, filthy devils like you should not be speaking to someone like me. I have only served the Jade Emperor for the longest point. I do not serve devils. Devils are nothing but filthy creatures and shall be abolished from this world. So, if you dare try to talk to me, I will abolish you from this annihilation, mostly this beautiful world that was created by the Supreme God. You are not the Supreme God. So I do not applaud or apply with any of you. So, do you understand, or do you want me to easily finish you from this world? Because even if I kill you and Surgex comes after me, I will kill him also. I'll make sure all devils have been annihilated, eradicated from this world in an instant. All of you filthy devils should stay in your underworld. Your own dimension shall not be bothering the death of humans. Humans do not need you people. I shall abolish you at once, you filthy scoundrels. This is where, well, Issei makes mostly three swords right now kind of floating on top of their heads. Right now kind of looking like he wants to just destroy them at once. Sona whined her eyes, even, Rias. This is where everyone who was in Sona's barrage whined their eyes, even Sanji, who actually got scared in an instant, because Issei's power literally erupted from his body. This is where, well, mostly Kiba right now says, I cannot let you do that. Issei turns around and sees the sword of betrayers. Issei literally walks up to Kiba. Without a care in the world, Kiba says, hey, what are you doing? Issei said, what do you think I'm doing? I'm going to make sure that a devil like you shall learn your place. Even if you point a weapon at me, it doesn't matter. This is where Kiba swings the sword at Issei, but this is where Issei grabs his wrist, twists it off of his arm, and right now stab him with the sword of betrayers. This is where he falls down to the ground in an instant, coughing up blood. This is where, well, Issei says, understand this, you filthy devil. Even if you think you're stronger than me, you are not. You are just a filthy devil. So stay your fucking place. This is where, well, Issei glares at Rias and says, you do not call me your servant, because I am not your servant, you little bitch. So understand this, princess. If you dare fucking attack me, or even ask your brother to attack me, I will annihilate your brother at once and destroy your family in an instant. I do not give a damn about the Grammary family. Because you see here, you told me once that I'm nothing but a tool for your own servant fucking plaything. But that is wrong. I only serve the Jaden Emperor, and I will only be its servant. I at least get paid, unlike you, bitch, who never did pay me. But whatever. Whatever with that bullcrap. You think I'm just a tool for you? Pathetic. I am not a tool. I am a servant and a good leader. To those who believe that I am a good leader in my own faction. Other than that, I'm not part of your faction. Even if you think the devils believe that I'm in their faction, they are wrong, and I shall prove them one day that I will slaughter as many devils at once, if my lord so appreciates me to do. This is where, well, mostly Rias behind her eyes. She realized this is not the same Issei. Issei does not care. He's on menace time. He literally does not give a damn about Rias. That's right, Rias says, Issei, I wanna... This is where Issei says, shut up, devil. I do not care in what you needed to say. A devil like you shall not speak in front of me any longer. This is where, well, mostly Rias shuts up in an instant. She realized that Issei is dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Issei says, good. Now that you understand in who I am, tell your brother I do not care. I will tell my own leader about this. And if my leader so appreciates, well, mostly my God so appreciates that I should take out your goddamn devil race, I would do it in a mostly a heartbeat. I will not care about you. This is where, well, Issei starts kind of walking through a portal and leaving, but yeah. All of Ria's barrage members are hurt as hell. Now, of course, Issei never did say anything about the church, the angels, or fallen angels. He didn't care. Even though Issei noticed one thing. One of them did look just like fucking Rainer. Which Issei turns around because he only took one glance in the series and says, that looked just like Rainer. But then again, I don't care if she kills Ozia. So whatever. Issei pulls out the head and appears right in front of his lord and says, my lord, I have came back with the head of Kokaville. I have also told the devils about if they dare attack me or try to do any law bullcrap, I will kill them. So please tell me, my lord, do you want me to eradicate the devils at once? Well, see, there's none of the Jade Emperor, and the Jade Emperor says, Issei. I mean, yes, I'll call you Issei for now. Which he does call Issei for now because he does not mind if he's called by his new name or just Issei by the Jade Emperor. Mostly Jade Emperor says, Issei, you're back. Yes, it seems that you've already finished your conquest on killing Kokabel. Also, about the permission about killing the devils, I cannot let you do that. Issei grit his teeth. You see here, we are going to a specific meeting that I think you might find amusing. Issei looks up and says, what do you mean? You see here, I looked into the future. And it seems the three factions might be having a meeting. So, would you like to be going? Issei growls and says, no, I do not want to go. Why would I care? I'll be right in front of those goddamn filthy devils, and I do not like being anywhere near them. No, we are not going to the devil's side. We're going to stand next to Michael and the angels, and between the fallen angels. So, where you like to go? This is where Issei grits his teeth and says, fine. This is where, well, mostly the Jade Emperor says, excellent. Then I will also kind of ask mostly my grandson to see my actual descendant grandson to see if he would like to come. This is where, well, Issei says, do you want me to talk to him? Well, no, he's already behind you. This is where, well, the person appeared, mostly a taller, kind of blue-haired man with kind of, like six, like blue, like mostly hairs appear right in front of him. This is where, well, he has reddish, sick eyes, and this is where he does have tannish skin. This is where, well, he's also taller than Issei. He's like 6'3", while Issei is like 6 feet, but yeah. This is where, well, mostly Issei kind of looks at him, and this is where, well, Issei says, I see. Tango. This is where, well, mostly the Jade Emperor says, my grandson, tell me, do you also want to go to this meeting? This is where the person says, if there's anyone strong that I would like to fight, then yes. Because I wasn't allowed to go against the fallen angel. Because you told me that I could not. And you let Issei instead do it. Issei is also allowing this person to call him Issei, but this is where, well, Issei said, because I'm stronger than you. This is where the person grits his teeth and says, really, you want to throw hands right now? Issei says, no. I am tired, but it's because you are not a part of the Chinese, mostly not Chinese, you are part of this faction. And we didn't want to start a war just yet. Unless it's the devils, those filthy scumrads. This is where, well, mostly Jiggles to scoffs and says, you're still on with those devils. Oh, just please shut up for a second. If you want to kill them so bad, how about I give you permission to slaughter them? If any of them right now try to attack me. This is where, well, mostly Jade Emperor says, stop, both of you. I already told you once, Issei, you are not allowed to attack those devils. Issei scoffs and says, fine. Issei walks away. Jiggles kind of says, is it really not necessary to attack them already? Issei has already went through so much trauma. Is it not fine for him to just do it already? This is where the Jade Emperor shakes his head and says, I already told you once and I told you a million times. I am not going to allow him to attack the devils. I do not wish to kind of fight the devils, unless the devils are quite evil and quite as deceitful as they are. I would like to see for my own eyes. I only saw memories of Issei's, and that's all I have seen. But those are mostly false memories that he kind of produced from his own brain. But other than that, I do not wish to kind of start a war with them just yet. If I can see them being quite deceitful, and of course seeing the red hair, the Ria Squirmery, if she is really the cause of mostly the reason why Issei is like this, then I would tell Issei to kill her in an instant. But this meeting, I will now see what type of person if is Rias. Does it work well? We'll see Jago nod and says yes. Okay. Then I'll keep an eye on Issei. This is where Jago right now walks away, but doesn't work well. Jade Emperor says, there's no need. I'm gonna keep an eye on both of you to make sure you two will become the strongest. Well, should be taking a nap then. But we go into mostly the factions. Mostly Rias report this to Sir Dex. The angels mostly the fallen angels report this to mostly Azo. And of course the church members, mostly the exorcists, had to report this to the angels, but yeah. But other than that, I should be leaving it off here for part. Well, one of this what. Other than that, I will be doing part 10 later. For the cause of Spire Energy, but later. But yeah, other than that, bye. See you. Yeah.